got two. The junior class is just loaded in guards. Yes, Liberty's very talented. A lot of speed. They're playing well, playing very, very well defensively. You got LeBray, who probably going to have, if not the best, one of the top players on the court, every night in Mccoy. And then they've got some other girls that are really stepping up. Talked about Garrettsville, probably has the best post in the league. She's tough. She's, Smith's hard to stop, Moving on from that, you still have Newton Falls, which has all that history, and they're defensively very tough if you let them set up. I don't want to forget, Crestview playing really good right now. I've taken notice. I've been watching a lot of film. I often talk to Aaron. I just the way he's got them playing, they're doing a great job out there. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody, but I'm probably not. Hopefully I'm not. If I am, I apologize. But, so this is tough. We thought at the beginning of the year that, you could lose 3. Maybe if you lost 4, it's probably going to be a tie for the league. But you could lose 3 games in this league and still win.
It would be remiss of me to not mention the staff that's at that champion girls basketball team. And without that, I'd like to absolutely make sure we give you the time to shout out those other big contributors and big supporters for the champion girls basketball program.
Before you answer that, Coach, I do want to apologize to our viewers that we were having some glitch gremlins. We were not live for a while, so we have finally fixed it. We are live now. So thank you all for tuning in. And this is Michael Cole of Champion Girls Basketball.
Just back to that question real quick, Coach, of just giving you the opportunity to shout out your staff and those other big influential names inside that Champion Girls Basketball program.
Yeah. I'll always talk about our elementary, and it keeps changing each year. It's usually a parent from that group, but I've always had great elementary coaches that have really worked with us. They've kept it fun. You want as many girls out, and you want them to be fundamentally sound, and they've done a great job at that. Moving on to junior high, it's rotated the coaches, but one steady hand's been Joe Harris. He's done a great job, and we communicate quite often. Whether it's something I have to deal with or just kind of my philosophies and things that I want them to do, so that way they're ready for us. He's been more than open and welcome to help any way he could. And then my personal staff, I got basically 2 assistants. One's a JV coach, but Coach Roger Modespa, he's been doing it. I always say get an old timer on your staff. I have an old timer on my staff. He's been doing it forever. He does a great job. He does all my substituting. And I usually give the jobs, and he's our post player kind of develops our post players, and he's really had our girls, improving in the post. And then my other coach is Keith Pruitt. And here's another coach with varsity level experience. He used to be the head coach at Bristol, comes over, and, he does a great job defensively, helps with the girls. And then he's my guard development. He does a lot of our point guard moves. And he does a good job.
Coach, you're getting some love from Coach Upshire down in Badger, telling you you're one of the best in the business.
Yeah, good guy right there. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Coach, also just looking at this too, one of my final questions for you is just really looking at this team, looking at 7-1. I mean, you're off to a fantastic start of the season. Of course, every coach knows that they don't want to be peaking now, and I don't think at all you guys are. So my question is, for as good as this team's already been this season, how does this team continue to get better, and where do you think this team can get better and improve on to take that next level of basketball success?
Well, I just talked to my assistants. In fact, about a week ago, I started to talk that we're going to start to get more into the skill development and kind of more of the decision-making type aspects. Our strategies and what we want to run and defensively and offensively are pretty solid, but it's starting to become that time where we're going to start, kind of focusing on development and, just scenario type stuff. Like, what are we going to do when this happens? If we're in this situation. So a lot of the decision-making type, drills and ideas that we can throw out there. We're still really young. I got 3 seniors, no juniors, and a bunch of underclassmen. So you'd think there'd be some improvement. We really hope that we haven't peaked yet. Like I said, the injury is going to hurt us a little bit. Quality player, fantastic kid. If I can just talk about her too, in fact, all my girls are extremely coachable. This is probably one of the most coachable teams I've ever had, that they ask real questions. They're always trying to get better. They always come with good attitudes. I haven't had one problem all year, so that, it's been fantastic. But I think with our youth, hopefully we'll continue to improve throughout the year, and we'll be ready to go come tournament time.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was great to hear from you. We look forward to continued success at Champion, and we look forward to also talking to you again real soon.
Hey, guys, I appreciate everything you guys do. Like I said, I'm always checking out your games and, your guys during, you're kind of my lunch break sometimes. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
We appreciate your time as well, Coach. We hope you make another appearance on Running Point for us sometime in the future as well.
All right, guys, be safe out there. Thank you.
You as well. Thank you.
And
we got him. We got Coach Cole on Running Point. It was great to be able to finally hear from him. And as Coach Upshire said, as one of the best in the business. And you even mentioned it too, Anthony. I know we were having troubles though, but Champion Girls Athletics. I mean, and it feels like everyone is at least the casual fans were thinking they lost Gamont. They lost Emma Gamont. What is this? This is a younger Champion Girls team. Are they really going to be what we think they're going to be? I mean, what their softball does, like you mentioned, Ann. I mean, they're usually very good every single year. But I just feel like all the girls in that Champion High School are just like, what do you expect? They come out here successful every single season, and like you said, better part of a decade. It's like, what do you expect? It's like you're really going to count us out after all these years, and the parents are a huge factor in it. And the girls too, you got to give all kinds of credit to those athletes too. They work hard, they're gamers, and 7-1, pretty serious. I'm so excited for some conference matchups with those Champion girls.
Yeah, and we apologize for the glitch gremlins that are hit. I mean, you hit go live, and it was on this. I didn't notice it kept on spinning. It was on the spinning wheel for a while, and then in the middle of that interview, it's like, hey, you're live now. I was like, oh crap, we're just now going live.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunate. I mean, we're glad that we were able to get a good majority of that interview up for you, and we're going to absolutely make sure we try to get Coach Cole on at least one more time before the end of the season. Great guy to talk to, and I mean, I'm so excited for this Champion Girls basketball program.
To recap some of the things that he was able to bring up before we were able to actually go live, some of the players that have come up big for him this year. Ava Howe, senior, just playing phenomenal this season. Their defense is incredible. 18 steals a game, averaging.
They're averaging 25 rebounds a game too, and I think 10 offensive. And that's an impressive number too. If you're dominating the boards, and that's what he said, boards and steals, you're winning that department. You're pretty much winning a lot of basketball games after that.
Maddie Jones, another senior that has added a lot of physicality to their team. One of the reasons why they were able to force so many turnovers, they're able to get physical. Bella Meyer, great player.
I think she's the scoring leader too. I think she's averaging 15 a game for them. So you look at that. That's impressive too for sophomore. And that's the thing with Champion, and that's why we see so much success in these girls' athletics. Is these girls just know how to step up, and when they need to step up. And I mean, these younger girls, it's sophomores that play like seniors. It truly is, and that's kind of mentality that isn't just given to people. It's something that's earned, and it's something that's worked in a community. And it just seems like it runs blood deep over there in Champion, and it means a little bit something more over there in the flat.
Well, I think there was a well-kept secret in Champion that maybe the casual fan didn't know, that hey, their 8th grade team last year didn't lose a single game in junior high, and they had a pretty good freshman group coming up. So I think Michael Cole.
I thought you were gonna drop like a huge secret. Like Champion's actually the site of WNBA G League team. That's where they bring all the girls up to the WNBA.
No, but their middle school team is pretty much a farm system.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that. I can't believe how good they've been for so long, and we know Champion in softball.
I honestly think it started with softball. That standard being set by Coach Weaver. And then everyone else, because you almost have to have multiple sport athletes in champion. It's small enough that you cannot survive without having multiple sport athletes. So we talk about success trickling down. And I think once that standard was met and set for the softball team, it just started to, okay, this is how we're going to run things in champion. This is what we expect from our athletes. And I don't want to, but especially on the girls' side, it feels like these girl athletes, whether it be soccer, they had a great season this year. Basketball, consistently good. Softball, 3 straight state championships.
I mean,
COVID robbed us of a fourth.
The coaches are going to give credit to the parents and the kids, and with good due. I mean,
but they start them young. The parents run the youth organizations, which leads to great junior high classes, which leads to great varsity programs.
But I don't want to take anything away from what Coach Cole has done for the better part of 7 years over there in champion girls basketball, and that is the exact mark of a great program that's built, and it's not just a great team. When you go into this season, and I think it was pretty much everyone except for maybe champion in the surrounding areas, because they knew about their 8th grade team, that was thinking about going into this season, unless you're like super hard basketball junkies, you were probably looking at this champion team thinking, yeah, they're going to be probably okay. They're a younger team, but I don't think they're going to be anything much more than run of the mill. But I just don't think, like you said, you don't know champion girls athletics then if you don't.
It was like a magician's trick where last year Emma Gamont was doing absolutely everything for them. Like it was like the Emma Gamont show sometimes. And if she wasn't scoring, they struggled. So you're sitting there watching that team like, man, when she's gone.
It's like that Skyrim stat, Deception 100 as champion.
When she's gone, what's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. All these players are going to get moments to shine, and players like Bella Meyer, they're going to step up and be a tremendous athlete.
Now, sophomore.
If you're a softball fan, you know Bella Meyer, and you know she knows how to win because she is one of the best softball players in the area, period. So there you go. I mean, bringing it to the basketball court, stepping up, and lights are never too big for that girl. I'll tell you that much.
We talked about too. I mean, Coach Cole talked about it too. I mean, yeah, she's injured. She's injured right now, but Gabby Gradishar.
Oh yeah, okay.
The freshman is what you're talking about, and Gradishar. That's another one of these younger players was having an impactful season, averaging 8.5 a game as a freshman. That's significant, and you're talking about it now. You got Bella Meyer for the next 2 seasons after this. You got Gradishar for the next 3. That is how you build programs, and I guarantee you there's probably a lot more down in the 7th and 8th grade right now waiting to come up. So champion girls basketball is probably going to be fine for years.
By the way, they also have a girl, and it's a senior named Lorinda Dodrill that is one of the deadliest shooters in that MVAC conference. Spot shooter, can shoot with the best of them. Probably, I mean, the best shooter I've seen at champion since I'm going to go back to my time watching girls basketball in high school, but Gabby Lamont, who I believe still has the champion 3-point record. If someone from champion is watching and could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Gabrielle Lamont back in 2012 or 13, she broke that record pretty handily of 3 points in a game and 3 points in a season. And then they went to the district championship against United, I believe, that year. But yeah, I mean, once again, it goes back to that was 9 years ago now, and we're talking about it as they were successful back then, and they're still successful now. I mean, you can name a bunch of champion players from then to now on that basketball team that have the standard for excellence.
And with girls athletics especially, you talked about the parents, and I mean, you got to give a lot of credit to them. They've kept true, and for Coach Cole to say that this group of girls is one of the most, if not the most focused one that wants to constantly learn, constantly get better, constantly asking questions, that's a good sign, I think, over there in champion, because that is girls that know how to take criticism, but they want to use it to improve their game. And it's also a group of girls that know they haven't even hit their ceiling yet, and there's still work to be done. Tough team. I wouldn't want to face them in the tournament, I tell you that.
And look, no one wants to be that team that ruins the mojo. You know what I'm saying? Because the standard has been set. Everyone wants, when you're it's almost like when I've been talking to softball players in the past, because we've had champion for the last 2 years now. One of the things and I always ask them, like, what makes this program so much able to just keep finding these talent, and they go, because when you play for champion, on the softball team and probably on the basketball team too, it's almost like putting on a superhero. It's a dream. It's a something that you work for. It's something that you want to be a part of because you've seen what people before you do when you're watching as a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old. A lot of these girls that are seniors now probably watch the girls that I was talking about back when they were 10 years old. The Gabby Lamonts, the Jordan Skaggs, on the basketball floor. So when you watch players like that, and then you want to grow up to be that, and you want to meet that standard, and then, like I said, it trickles down. Standard trickles down.
100%, absolutely. As we were able to get that interview with Coach Michael Cole, we still have Coach Joe Surinsky from Western Reserve Boys making his first appearance on Running Point, coming up at 1:00. I believe we also have another interview in the can for you too.
We have Nate Conley, the head coach of East Liverpool boys basketball, joined DJ Yoakley for an interview earlier today, so we'll be able to hear that one as well, as East Liverpool still rocking and rolling their way through the season.
Yeah, and I mean, Coach Conley going to be good to hear from this season as they're currently ranked number 1. They talked with our owner DJ Yoakley, so going to be fun. Well, was ranked number 1 last week.
Yeah,
we'll see with the new power rankings. I didn't spoil it because there's no power rankings out yet. So
no, there aren't out yet. I feel like if you're just, but because we had those glitch gremlins.
Yeah, there was some glitch gremlins. So
we said at the top, and I want to just clean this up, and then we'll take a break and we'll get out to Joe Surinsky. We said at the top, power rankings will be out. There is more glitch gremlins with our graphics. So
it's the new year. It's like 2022. They're like 3 2s in a year.
Y2K part 2. Computers everywhere shutting down.
Yeah, it's 22. Why? There you go. But it was 3 2s, not 3 0s, Anthony. We got it wrong. We got the wrong number. It's supposed to be 1 0 and 3 2s, not 1 2 and 3 0s.
3 2s break the binary code. It's all
there's 3 2s just destroyed all of our computers.
But that being said, the power rankings will be out as soon as we're able to make our graphics. So will the Baird Brothers Big Dog of the Valley winners, because the voting ended last night at midnight. We want to remind you that Brookfield versus Champion canceled tonight. East Palestine at Columbiana canceled tonight. McDonald at Lowville canceled tonight. Sebring at Mineral Ridge has been moved to January 15th. Niles at Girard has been moved to January 31st. Jackson Milton is not playing Waterloo anymore. They're playing Boardman now. So
that was the only one I thought you missed, but you got it.
Those are all the schedule changes so far. And once again, we want everyone to stay tuned to YSN, our social media, and our website, so they can always be up to date on what games are happening, not happening for the night.
Yeah.
So, I feel like we cleaned the house.
We tried to. I mean, Glitch Gremlins tried to make things a little difficult, but hey, we didn't have many games. We didn't have any. Well, all but the Cleveland game and the Struthers Wildcats, and talking about that.
56-53. Struthers Falls last night in Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse to Black River. It's a game where they had the ball down by 1. I mean, it was right there, tooth and neck, and unfortunately, in games
I think there was 3 seconds left in the clock for them to inbound too, down by 1, and then just a wayward pass that sends someone out of bounds and sends it back to Black River. But I think, like we said too, prior to the show actually going live, the impressive thing with this Wildcats team is by the fourth quarter, in the last 10 seconds, if you're still in the game, still have a chance with 1 shot to win it against a good Black River team. I don't think the Wildcats have gone anywhere. Yeah, there's some stuff to be learning. Yeah, Coach Wernicke's obviously going to keep pushing those boys to work harder, but especially in that NE8, I think all other 7 teams better look at the Wildcats and realize, yeah, they might have lost Metzka, but I don't think this is a Struthers team that plans on going anywhere.
No, not at all. And Rodney Leonard, actually, one of the more impressive players coming out of nowhere from that team.
Someone always steps up in that Wildcat community. It's going to be fun. But without further ado, we have some other coaches to interview. We don't have many game recaps, but we loaded it up with coaches for you too. So
and then
we
we
got a full pack show of Running Point.
Do have games to pick.
Yeah.
It is your pick, Ty. You won not the holiday. We absolutely went even during the holiday break. But the Thursday we came back,
I got one on you.
So you are down 3, and you have the pick for Pick'em today as well. So that'll come up later in the show as well. We're going to take our first break of the day, and we'll come back, get ready for head coach of the Western Reserve Blue Devils boys basketball team, Joe Sorensky, after this break on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring. And, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we get ready for Coach Joe Srinsky, the head coach of the Western Reserve boys basketball team. And they are, 3-6 on the year, but a very good 3-6, I would say.
This is a team that, I saw them go up against Camel, and they were fighting tooth and nail. And that's the one thing I will always say about the Blue Devils is that this is a team that consistently, year in, year out, they will not stop fighting. And they've always had good programs over there, I feel like. And, this is no different. Yeah, they're a little bit younger. There's some things that need to be learned over there still. But I think, honestly, just looking at it as a whole, this entire team has been very impressive this year, and they've been competitive in a lot of their games too. It's figuring out how to close games out. You look at their score against teams like Southeast, Ravenna Southeast, against teams like Heartland Christian, against teams like Rootstown. These are all games that they were well within for a decent amount of time. And the same thing with the Camel score, got away from them a little bit late, but that score definitely looks lopsided, but it's not as lopsided as the game will indicate. For a good majority of the time, Western Reserve was keeping pace, was jabbing too, along with the punches, but eventually Camel was just able to grab some steals and turn those into points. But there's some things to be learned, like I said, with this team, but I think for sure it's a team that's been very impressive, and they're gonna have quite a test here coming up.
Yeah, I think their most exciting win of the year so far was the 72-71 win over Waterloo, right?
And that's a Waterloo team too that even though their record I think is like 0-5, 0-6, it's a team that's I think lost their margin of loss. The differential is like by 5 points in each game. It's literally, if you want to talk about a team that's having some of the worst luck this year, it's the Waterloo Vikings boys side. Just look at their scores. They're another example where, and this is I might go off on a tangent here real quick, but just looking at it, this is something that a lot of coaches preach, right? And we understand winning the conference is important, and we understand regular season wins are important. But Coach Beanie is one that'll say it, and there's a lot of coaches that'll say it. Regular season record, yeah, we want to get as many wins as we want, but that's not as important in the grand scheme of things. Everybody makes the tournament. It's about getting better. And if you're getting better every single game, getting yourself more prepared for part 3 of the season, the tournament, that is the mark, I think, of a good basketball team, is just getting your team to be the best that they can be by tournament time. Are you going to suffer some losses sometimes? Yeah, you are. Are you going to get some heartbreakers? Sure. You're going to get some thrilling wins? Sure. But not that record's not important, but don't let that be the sole thing that you're looking at, and let that try to define your season. Because
I was going to say that. I think of the phrase you're looking for, define the season.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of postseason runs from teams middle of the pack, and not just basketball, other sports too. But that's the beauty of a tournament too, and that's the beauty of just if you can get your team ready by that time. Sometimes cards fall your way too. Sometimes a little bit of luck happens that way too. But anybody can make that magical run come March.
Waterloo's going to be saying eventually luck's going to go our way, right?
You got to figure too.
Right?
Just to talk about Waterloo and the games I've seen them. We could run through real quick, just looking at their scores. It's just they lost by 8 to Windham, but they were as close as within 4 at one point in that one. lost to a very good Mogador team by 17, lost to Western Reserve by 1, lost to McDonald by 2. Like you look at those scores, it's just you're gonna figure it out, Vikings. I have no doubt. Navarre Al-Hassan is a stellar athlete. Luke Simons is a stellar athlete. They're gonna figure it out.
So obviously matchups are different, and I don't want to be the one that says because this happened, this is going to happen. But you'll look at it and you go, Western Reserve beat Waterloo by 1. McDonald beat Waterloo by 2. Western Reserve and Western Reserve and McDonald play each other on Friday. That game's going to be epic.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as
it always end up that way, matchups are always different. But
when it's Blue Devils versus Blue Devils, that matchup's always epic. And I believe as long as unless there's a schedule change, I do believe they might be playing Springfield on Tuesday too. And that was the game I was alluding to of they're going to have a big test this week and they're going to have a big test tomorrow. But boy, oh boy, you want to talk about how that's the beauty of basketball season. And it's the same thing with baseball and softball, but one win will open up everybody's eyes. And you want to talk about throwing records out the door. You go out there, you beat that Springfield team. Guarantee you a lot of people are going to be talking, did you see what that Western Reserve team did? I mean, and it's never out of the realm of possibility. Any given night on the basketball hardwood, they got some hardworking kids over there in Berlin Center, and I have no doubt in my mind they're going to give it their all on Tuesday night.
The Western Reserve boys have some demons to work through with Springfield, and if they can exercise those demons with a win on the basketball court, it'll probably feel really good for a lot of those guys, especially David Altier.
And you know what? He was a pretty impressive factor too. He's able to grab a lot of boards for Western Reserve, and what I saw, and that was really impressive.
Seen the kid? He's just he's a freight train. Like
he's a freight train, but he positions himself so well. And that's another great thing about him is just how he positions himself on the floor and in the low post. And that was the thing I saw a lot from Western Reserve. You saw that. I mean, they have other great players. Gabe Platt is another one. Hayden Fellows. David Ashburn is another. So, I mean, just looking at this team, I'm excited for everything that they have. Good mix of a decent amount of seniors mixed in with some freshmen that need to learn some things coming off the bench. But I think Western Reserve, they're going to be, I think, just fine as the season rolls along.
You wonder how much they watched that triple overtime game against South Range and try to take little things that South Range was doing well to give Springfield problems and try to see if they can extrapolate that to their own personnel. Because like I said, blueprints are out there. It doesn't mean that you have the ability to go and execute that blueprint. But South Range set out a blueprint that said, these are some of the things that will work against Springfield. So if you can have the personnel and have the execution to do them, then, you might have some business.
Yep. As we patiently await, let me just get Joe Sarinsky on here real quick. And he should be popping into the green room here any second.
Any second.
So we wait for him to talk about it. But no, this is going to be exciting looking at the Scarlet side of that MVAC. There's going to be a lot of interesting matchups we haven't seen yet. And they're going to be opening up a lot going into this second part of the season.
Another veteran that we can ask about navigating the pandemic as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? This is going to be interesting looking at just how many Scarlet matchups and how many teams can play either spoiler or how many great matchups are going to be between teams competing on both sides of the MVAC. And that Scarlet side is going to be fun to see just how Springfield. I mean, Springfield's obviously the heavy favorite, but I think everyone's gunning for them right now.
Yeah, but you look. I mean, Springfield hasn't played too much in the league yet.
That's the important thing.
It's 5-0 for Springfield, I think. I want maybe 6-0. 6. 5. I think South Range was their 4th win. They got the 5th over Hubbard.
I believe so. I think you're correct. I think you're correct on that.
So, you look at Springfield hasn't gone through the gauntlet of the league quite yet, and it can be a meat grinder, to use a Michael Cole description. It can really wear you down Tuesday, Friday, going up against teams that know you inside and out and try to get physical with you as much as they can.
Yeah. I mean, and that's both sides of that MVAC. There's so many matchups, but I mean, even the gray side, I think, is going to be the one. Both girls and boys side, it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top of those ones too.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's like eyeing on Liberty right now on the girls side, but you forget like Champion's undefeated in the league too, and they're gunning for it, and that's going to be a big matchup when that happens.
Yep.
On the other side, you look at the boys on the gray, Liberty playing pretty well there too.
Hold on. I think, you know what? I know exactly what the issue is. I think Coach Shurinsky has the same problem that you have with me when I send the link. I think I included text with the link, and he just didn't get it. So hold on. Let me resend this to him. Yeah, nothing like on the fly fixing things to get coaches on.
It's that kind of day. We're just riding with it.
Let's try to get him on here now. He's on his phone.
I think if he doesn't have an iPhone, you have to send just the link by itself, or it won't send in the text. We've learned that the hard way with you.
We're working with you, Coach. We're working with you. We're gonna get you on. Pull out of the depths of the glitch gremlin hell that YSN has been cursed with today.
We're in the boughs of Mordor with Gandalf.
Oh my goodness! I mean, there's just glitch gremlins all over the place today. I mean, who let him out for 2022? We got him on. We figured out the problem. We navigated it, and now Coach Surinsky comes on from Western Reserve Boys basketball program.
Oh man,
fun guys.
Hey, Coach, how we doing?
Good. How's it going? Thanks for having me on here.
You got it.
Yeah, no problem, Coach. And Coach, what I wanted to first talk with you about, and what we like to start with all of our coaches, is kind of a meet the team segment. Now, I've gotten to see you guys play. We've kind of previewed some of those bigger names in Altier and Ashburn, but you guys have a nice mix of seniors and freshman, sophomore class, it looks like, on your team. So I just want to give you the opportunity to highlight those big impact players for you early on in the season, and some of these younger guys you've been really impressed with to start.
Yeah. Obviously, you got David Altier. He's our beast underneath. You love a guy that doesn't care if he scores points and he just wants to rebound and block guys. Ashburn, Gabe Platt, Dean Coleman, all our seniors. We had junior class. We have Hayden Fellows. I mean, that kid is freaky fast. He's our steal guy. And we have a very good freshman in Dominic Riccardi that, in the future, I think everybody in the area is going to know who he is.
Coach, when you look at this league and the conference that you play in, obviously the MVAC Scarlet Tier filled with a lot of good teams that you have to navigate. What do you think about the league, how it's shaping up this year, and what it's going to take for you guys to be really competitive in it?
Yeah, it's kind of shaping up like we all thought, Springfield and Lowville being the top two dogs in the league. But coming in, we thought that we could challenge anybody in the league. The Lowville game obviously didn't go the way we planned. But, we're looking forward to this week. This is a big week for us. And we've had a week off. We've been in the gym working hard, and these guys are excited to get this week going here.
And I was saying, too, before you came on, Coach, don't let record define this team's season, because you guys certainly compete, play hard in every single game, and fight tooth and nail with pretty much every opponent that you face this season. Talk to me a little bit about what it's going to take for you guys to eventually start finishing games, as well as where do you kind of try to keep the focus with the boys, obviously knowing record for the tournament doesn't matter a whole lot in the long run.
Yeah. Me and my coach talk about it all the time. We think we have the hardest non-league schedule in the area. We had to play Mooney, Southeast, Heartland Christian, all good teams, but I wouldn't have it any other way, because those teams get you ready for the tournament. But I mean, my guys fight. We were down 26 points to Heartland Christian, and we got back within 3. Just couldn't get over that hump. And it's been turnovers. If we can take care of the ball, and limit our turnovers, I think we can beat anybody in our division or anybody that on our schedule so far.
Let's talk about that Heartland Christian game since you brought it up. Obviously, like you said, you went down early, 26 points. You were able to really get back in that game. What kind of character did that show from your team from the first game off the jump, that no deficit was going to scare them? They weren't going to back down. And this whole season, you guys are not going to be a team that is ever out of the game.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've had the luxury of coaching these kids. I coached them when they were younger. I coached them in junior high, so I kind of knew what I was getting. But that was definitely that first game of the season. I think that showed themselves that it doesn't matter how many points we're down. We can, as long as we keep fighting, the game's not over till it's over.
Coach, it certainly seems like in Berlin Center, when it's basketball night, there's nowhere else to be except right there at Western Reserve High School. Talk to me about the support you get from that community and how influential that is for you guys game in and game out on the road or at home.
Yeah, it's funny. All our wins have come on the road. We haven't got to win one on our home court yet, but we love the fans. The kids love the excitement, the electric in the air when we get in our own gym. To be a Blue Devil is something special. And, all the parents, all the community, they know me, I know all them. So it's a kind of a tight knit, community out here.
Coach, you have a big matchup this tomorrow with Springfield. Talk about this game coming up, what you expect from it, and some of the things that you think you can do to come away with a victory in this game.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that we marked on the calendar early in the year. We know Springfield's going to be tough. It doesn't matter what sport you play them in. They're always a tough team to beat, and we got to go on the road. Which I think it's all of our wins come on the road, so I'm feeling pretty good about tomorrow. I mean, I'm not going to guarantee anything, that, but I can guarantee we'll show up and we're going to play hard, and we're going to give them a game tomorrow night.
Coach, I just want to talk or ask a little bit about just your coaching philosophy and the culture you're trying and you have created there. I want to know a two-part question. First off, what does it mean to be a Blue Devil? And second off, is there any professional college or even high school coaches that you've kind of adapted into your own philosophy and you maybe not take completely from, but use some strategies from?
Yeah, well, to be a Blue Devil, it means you got to work hard. You got to play for your community. You got to play for your teammates. It's not about any one person. It's about the team. And, these guys have bought in so far. I told my seniors, they got a big job to do this year because it wasn't just about this year. It's about, changing things going forward. And, they've done a really good job of buying in and doing what me and Coach Parrish want to do.
Talk a little bit more about those seniors and what they've meant to this team and the leadership they've brought to a team that has a lot of turnover from last year.
Yeah. David Altier, Ashburn, and Gabe Platt were really the only three that had a lot of varsity experience. And, it just so happens those three are the three that are really, leading us in this year so far, in the locker room, on the court. I'm proud of those three.
I'm sorry, Coach. I'll re-ask the question too about just looking at just coaching philosophies and just some of those styles that you've implemented into your own game plan. Where have you kind of sampled from, and what's kind of the game plan kind of look like for Coach Yansky, obviously without giving away the entire book?
Yeah, I mean, I really didn't copy off of any college coaches or anything. I mean, I've had the luxury of coaching under, the girls coach Stevie Miller, and I played for Tim King, and, those two always stressed hard work. And, that was our main goal, was to, day in and day out practice game. It doesn't matter. You got to work hard and you'll get you'll see good things from that.
Coach, you've mentioned a couple of people already, but I do want to give you the chance to highlight your coaching staff and all the people involved in this program that kind of make it what it is, whether it be down from the middle school level to here, or if you want to, you can go as far down as the youth level too.
My assistant coach is Joe Paris. He's a Fitch guy. Me and him coached youth years back, and when I got the job, I called him. And he was on board with helping me. And he's a great guy, knows basketball. My junior high coaches, Nolan Snyder, which was Mr. Daltorio's assistant last couple of years. He's a great guy. He's doing an awesome job with the 8th grade bunch. Mike Kutzko is my 7th grade coach. He's been coaching, youth for years. I mean, he's doing a good job. And, the youth coaches, my dad coaches a 6th grade team, which me and him have coached them for the last 3 years. My 5th grade coach is Brandon Keck. He's a Western Reserve guy. He's doing a great job. I mean, I couldn't ask any more from all these guys, all the time they put in. I mean, I'm really proud of all of them.
And obviously, just looking at this team and looking at what you've been able to do, I think there's a lot to be proud of. But I also want to give you the opportunity, kind of coach yourself. You talked about your playing time, and I always like asking this question to former players. What would Coach Sarinsky tell player Joe Sarinsky if he had the chance to coach him?
You got to work way harder than you did, Coach or player Sarinsky. That's for sure. I kind of. My coaching, there was things that I did when I played that I probably, I would definitely be yelling at myself right now. And Coach King did plenty yelling at me.
We'll fire up the DeLorean for you real quick, and you can go back and tell yourself that. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was great to hear from you. Great to hear from you for the first time on Running Point, and we know that we'll hear from you again real soon. Good luck the rest of the year, and we can't wait to see what you guys do for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me on here. Look forward to it.
Look forward to talking to you again soon too, Coach. Thank you.
Yep. Have a good one.
So we look at this, Anthony, and I mean, all in all, we got Western Reserve checked. We got champion checked. Great talking with Coach Joe Sarinsky, though, as well. I was really excited for today when you told me that Coach Michael Cole was coming on, and then in the midnight hour, able to get Coach Joe Sarinsky. And these are two coaches that we've been talking about a little bit off air privately about ones we really want to feature on this show, and we really want to give airtime just because we know how special champion girls athletics are and how special that team is this year, and how we wanted to make sure that we got to hear from Coach Cole a little bit.
It was an adventure getting Coach Cole because the email that's listed on the OHSA website
doesn't work.
It
doesn't work. Doesn't exist. It just you email it and it says doesn't exist. We didn't know how to talk to Coach Cole. We didn't have a way to contact Coach Cole. I don't know how you did it, my friend, but you were able to find that contact and bring him on. So props to you for getting Coach Cole. And then Coach Sarinsky, like we said, I mean, he's just one of those guys. I mean, down to earth guy that works hard just like his team does. And it's a team that you never can count out because Western Reserve is always going to bring the heat no matter what.
Don't you love it when a team just embodies the personality of their coach and you can
I love the confidence that he has no matter what the record is, the confidence he has in his team. And the fact that you look across at a power ranked Springfield team, a Springfield team that's been very, very good and as favorites in that Scarlet side, and have the confidence to say, okay, you might not guarantee win, but to have the confidence to say, I think we're going to be just fine tomorrow night. I mean, just having that confidence in your players and not having that fear of any opponent is so key. And I could tell you that for sure. No one in Berlin Center fears just about anything. That's a fearless community over there.
That's fearless right there. And let's be honest, if you're not going to be confident, then why even step on the court?
Exactly.
Like, if you don't come on to that game day honestly believing that you can win the game, what are you doing there? Right?
But that's where we see a lot of teams, and not even just talking about teams under the YSN banner, just teams we see outside of the network area coverage too that are often struggling too. You can see they have confidence issues with themselves. And you're right, Anthony. If you're already talking yourself out of the game and you're not in the game up here, you're not in the game at all then going into it.
Drives me crazy, you know, when you know, if you go to like before COVID, we went to practices to interview coaches instead of having to do it all remotely. So you go to a practice or something and you hear a player saying, you know, oh, this team's so good, we're not going to really be able to do much. And it's like you're talking yourself right out of winning that game. You know, it's like, how can you – to me, it's always been brain-boggling how you can win a game without even thinking you can win a game to start.
Well, yeah, I mean, it all starts with the mentals too, especially in the sport of basketball, because runs are going to happen. Basketball is a game of runs, like any coach will tell you. So if you're going to lose confidence because a team starts running on you, that's how 8-0 runs start becoming 22-4 runs and stuff like that. And that's how you start getting behind quarters and you start seeing that lead start becoming insurmountable. And it's definitely a case too, where if you're not in it up here, you take a play off. Well, that can be a score. That's an additional 2 points that you're behind too. So, and that's the thing with Western Reserve. And even though Camel was they're one of the highest scoring teams, one of the most talented teams, and I'm not going to discredit anything. I think the Rockin' Red Devils are absolutely stellar. But the thing you saw from Western Reserve, no matter what that deficit was, they didn't stop fighting. They didn't stop playing hard defense. And that's a mark of a team that I wouldn't want to play come tournament time, because they're going to get better. They're going to get that skill development. They're going to figure those things out. But the problem is when you play them in the tournament, no matter where you have them, they're not going to quit. And you mentioned that Heartland Christian game. That is a perfect example of the mentality Western Reserve brings into the season.
I mean, you watch a kid on the other side go and drop 50 plus. Like, for me, that would be demoralizing. I'd just be like, you know what?
And you almost beat them too.
Not
You
my
almost
day.
ruined Johnny Bucket's 50-point.
If you did that in Heartland, like you put up 50 in a losing effort,
That'd be something too.
that'd stink.
But the fact that Western Reserve was so close, and arguably you could probably say that Jonathan Verdovich on that night is probably at this point probably the most talented player skill-wise that was on the floor that night. But that's the most important thing in just saying that one player can't necessarily beat you. And Western Reserve put together a team effort. They came this close from ending that beautiful night from Berdovich and making it all for not necessarily nothing, but ending in a losing effort. And nobody wants to have that kind of night and come on the losing effort. So Western Reserve plays very good team basketball, and that's the biggest key with the Blue Devils. And gonna be exciting watching the Springfield game tomorrow. I think, like I said, they're not gonna throw their hats in. They're gonna come out ready to fight.
Very refreshing to see, because the more the NBA develops into this isolation league where it's all about, you know, 2 or 3 players that you have on the team that can just go and score whenever they want to, the more teams you see in the high school level start to turn into that, not team basketball, but more run isolation for one person kind of sets. And yeah, I love it when I see a team just go back to team basketball. It's like, leave that stuff to the 1% of players that is good enough to play that way. Well, let's stick to our 99% of basketball and play it like a team.
Well,
it's really good offensive sets.
It's a great equalizer in this area that if you don't have that guy that could score 20, or you don't have that high scoring offense, especially in Northeastern Ohio, teams have made success being defensive first teams. We've seen teams like Lorraine just a few years ago put up 100 points one night. I think it was either in the tournament or regular season. Next night lost because they only put up 37. And that's a big thing. And when we talk about too, and you look at these high offensive scoring teams like your Camels and such that are able to put on those points. Western Reserve is very slow and methodical. And yeah, they let Camel get away with them on offense too, but Western Reserve's one of those teams too. They're gonna set up their shots, they're gonna get good buckets, and they're gonna try to force you into long possessions, moving the ball a lot, working that time against you. So if you're a high offensive scoring team, they want to slow you down and really force you to pass that ball and work it inside too. Because if you don't have the time to score proficiently, they can get you in that range of like 50 or less points where they want you to try to beat you.
And to your point, Campbell's loss came where their offense failed them a little bit. They weren't scoring like they used to, like they're used to scoring, and Louisville was able to beat them.
That's the beautiful thing about
offense can go away like this. Defense,
basketball in this area, it's a great equalizer. If you have defense,
slump,
you could compete.
Right? You don't slump on defense. Defense is all about effort, not nearly as much about talent as it is on offense. It's just, can you go and be an athlete? Like athletes can play defense, period. Not every athlete can go and be a prolific scorer on offense, but every athlete can be able to play good defense.
We're going to have to see Rothwell go up with Altier, I think, at some points tomorrow, and that's going to be interesting because Altier is a shot blocker and a half, so that's going to be an interesting one.
And a half. He's a half a shot blocker adding on to one shot blocker. That's a shot blocker and a half. That's your fraction lesson for YSN today.
Yep. He's a half a shot blocker on top of an already great shot blocker too.
What's 1 plus a half? Well, it's 1.5. There you go. Fraction, addition, and subtraction.
That'd be funny if he averaged 1.5 blocks this season too, and I just got that right.
It's way too low for him.
Yeah, I think it is too. I've seen him getting a decent amount of blocks. He was blocking a lot of shots in the Campbell game too, and Campbell's got some good height. So David Altier,
he's in another tier of blocking.
Yeah. There you go. We got one more coaches interview in the can, and we still got picks for
you. Let's take another break. We'll come back. We'll play that coaches interview with Nate Conley, and then we'll come back from that and we'll do our picks for the night. That sounds like a solid plan. So don't go anywhere. We're going to take our break. We'll be right back on Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
It's storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-res futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hi, I'm Colin Chupa. And I'm Kelsey Clem from K-Squared Marketing. Our boutique marketing firm specializes in media planning and buying, public relations, event marketing strategies, and strategic sponsorships. We can integrate our services with your existing game plan, or we can be your entire marketing team. Your goals, our game plan. Let's win together. Call K-Squared Marketing at 330-623-2730 or visit ksquared.marketing to learn more.
Jimmy Sutton here, Director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and two of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
And welcome back to Running Point Monday edition, first edition of the new year. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell. And we are going to jump to a pre-recorded interview that DJ Oakley got to have with Nate Conley, the head coach of the boys basketball team over at East Liverpool. As we go to that, as soon as I tell you, Ty, this
if Glitch Gremlins will allow us to do it is the question.
It's not my day. Here we go. Let's do this. Okay.
Hi again, everyone, and welcome to another great edition of Coach's Corner. We are joined by the East Liverpool's finest, Nate Conley, the head coach of the boys team. Nate, how are you, brother?
Good, DJ. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Not as good as you, though. I mean, your Potters back on track, back on top, when with you at the helm. Talk to me about being a Liverpool guy, being a Potter guy, how nice it is to bring this program not only back to where it was, but try to establish and blaze a trail for where it is yet to go.
Well, we're doing all right, DJ. This is my 12th year here. We've had our ups and downs, like, most public schools. And we knew this class was a special class. I mean, we have 10 seniors. You don't hear about that too often. You want to have five. Five's a good year. We have 10 guys that stuck it out all the way through 7th grade. We knew they were going to be special. They have put in a great summer. Our season started off. We're playing good basketball. We're not playing great basketball. I still think there's a lot of areas we can improve on. But it's nice being 7-1, knowing that there's some work to do.
Yeah. So you look at where your team is, and not that you compare yourself to other teams around the Valley, but you are basically the creme de la creme. I mean, this is a lot of hard work has gone into this, Nate. And yeah, I mean, nobody knows it better than you because you've been a part of this program from the players' side. Being a coach, do you think there's a lot that goes into it? How much do you talk about the history of the Potter program when you're talking to your seniors and your underclassmen?
No, it's a rich tradition. I mean, you look at the 90s and even the early 2000s. We were Division I, so we're kind of by ourselves in this area where we didn't play a lot of local schools. When I played in 98, 99, 2000, we were going to Columbus and Cleveland and Pittsburgh on a random Tuesday night. So we didn't get to play a lot of familiar county schools. So it's actually a lot of people still think that we're the Division I power, but we're doing fine for where we're at. We're a smaller school now. We're a small Division II school, but our numbers are great. We have 35 kids in the program. It's taken me a while to get where we want to be, but we have all the way down to 3rd grade basketball, and then the field house. People always want to play in the field house and the blue seats, the padded seats, and the band, and they run out to the horse. And I have 3 daughters, and they're in the living room. We have to put the horse on YouTube, and they run out and they do the tip drill, and it reminds me of what I did. And it's nice knowing that little kids still care about that, and hopefully one day they get to run out to it. It's special.
you talked about the foundation of the East Liverpool's Potters and kind of where you guys have come from and how you've been successful up to this point. The foundation is the youth. You talk about your three daughters and you talk about the third grade level. How important is it for coaches at the high school level to really invest their time into the younger generations and the kids that haven't even sniffed middle school yet?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of schools, and I'm not speaking for every school, a lot of schools pull the trigger too fast when they hire a coach. It took me a long time, and I'm nowhere near where we want to be, but I'm in my 12th year here. We're still trying to get things better at the youth level. So many times you hear new guy gets hired and, they should be at the youth. They should be at the youth. Well, it takes a long time to get where you want to be at the high school level. And, it takes time. You got to worry about the middle school and then turnover with coaches. And I've been blessed that I've been able to have the same coaching staff for a long time to start the show.
Let's talk about that coaching staff. Who is it on your coaching staff that makes the train run, so to speak, when you have other things to do? Because not everybody knows, but head coaches especially, are superiorly busy during basketball season and around the clock. Oh, and by the way, you're the principal at East Liverpool. Talk to me about the coaches that make the engine run.
Well, I always say if we're coaching for 2 hours, which we don't go for 2 hours, if I'm doing nonstop coaching at practice, then we're not getting any better. Kids have to lead, so they start practice off. They do all our pregame stuff, our pre-practice stuff. And I'm blessed with, I've been with Andy Miller. He's an ITCL guy. He played for, he was at United and he coached with Herm Miller. And then this is Isaac Davidson. This is his 4th or 5th year with me, and he's got just a special basketball mind. What he's able to bring and his connection he's able to make with the kids, they make it special. But if your seniors or your leaders aren't leading at practice, then you're not going to be any good. So we try to stay out of it for like the first 20, 30 minutes while the kids get warmed up and get ready to roll, and then we start going.
Let's talk about your senior leaders. I know you got a ton of them. Talk to me about what makes this senior addition so special to the Potters and why it's kept you at the top of the power rankings now for 2 weeks in a row.
Well, we don't have a true vocal leader, and we've struggled with that for the last few years, but I'm okay as long as we're leading by example and our kids get after it. Cole Daly, Zombie Green, both six kids. They're long, they're lanky, they alter shots. I mean, Cole's put back-to-back 15-point, 18-rebound games against the extremely athletic Steubenville team. And then we got a new guard, Trey Armstrong, and he's been a great teammate. I wish I've had him for 4 years because he'd be even that much better, but he's been great. And you got Devin Toothman, who doesn't lead vocally, but just a hard-nosed kid that plays the game the right way, put the ball in the hoop. He's tough to guard. We have 3 kids averaging 15, and then Trey's averaging 13. So it's tough to stop us on the offensive end. But like I said, we have a lot of work to do. It's still, believe it or not, still early in the year. Our January, we play 3 games almost every week. So we have a lot of work to do before we get going into this January stretch.
Nate, I know that one of the fun things for you is to watch your kids play not just basketball, but other sports throughout the year. You're a fan of the Potters and you're a fan of just student athletes in general. When you watch them play other sports, how great is it to you to know that you get them on the basketball court as well with as athletic as your kids are?
Yeah, I go and watch, all the football games. I was just telling you before we started, I'm a big baseball fan. Have been my whole life, and one of my best friends, Brian May, is a baseball coach, so I go to a lot of baseball games. And it's weird sitting back and not being involved, 24/7 with the game, but it's kind of nice to see, how our kids develop and how they've matured. Because some of these kids, they've been playing, varsity basketball for 3 years, and they were little babies as sophomores. So it's nice to see them mature. And I tell you what, our baseball team's gonna be pretty good this year. So this will be a fun spring.
Yeah, we're excited for that. It looks like the Potter stock is on the rise in every single sport. And, there's a lot of people that help. You have, Josh Ludwig with the football program, Jonathan Ludwig being the superintendent. And what's great to me is you're all friends. You guys all understand each other, what it means to be an East Liverpool Potter. And you're trying to get that back, and you're doing it in such a fine way. One of the things that I love about this area is it doesn't matter who it is. But if there's something to watch, especially in basketball, people will come.
Yep.
Talk to me and plead your case for people to fill that Potter Fieldhouse. For those that necessarily aren't familiar with East Liverpool basketball and the traditions that have come in the last 12 years under your helm, and why it's so great to see this team play live and in person.
Well, it's crazy. The field house, you've been there. It's big. It's huge. It holds close to 3,000 people. We still get a lot of fans. Some nights it might not look as crowded, but we're bringing 1,000 people to games. And you talk about the style we play. We're not slowing it down. We're not running a million sets. I always laugh. We have these sets that we could run, but all off season and all summer we work on player development, working on attacking the rim and shooting. And I don't want to take that away from them by running a set every time down the court. I want to be able to teach these kids how to play the game of basketball, and we play a fun style of basketball. We get full court on defense. We get out and we run, and we dunk a lot of basketballs this year. 4, 5, 6 dunks a game, alley-oops. We're a fun basketball team to watch. So I wouldn't take it for granted. That's what I tell East Liverpool people, because you don't get too many 6'6" kids that play above the rim, come through your program too often. So don't take it for granted and go out and enjoy it.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, because I know how big of a YSN advocate you've been over the last 4 or 5 years of our existence. Why is it that you always have our back? And I'm not saying that because you're just always there. Whenever I need someone to give us a pat on the back or a kick in the tail, you're always the guy that says, this is why I love YSN. Why is it that is so important to you?
It's funny you bring that up, DJ. You got me in trouble over the holiday breaks. I don't know what day it was. I was sitting on a couch and I was on YSN and I was watching a game, and my wife, I'll say she asked me politely to do something. And I was watching, it was Springfield and Southbridge, a game I never would have watched. If it wasn't for YSN, I wouldn't have watched that game. I wouldn't have went to, I think it was at Springfield. And she asked me to do something. I'm like, hold on, watch into this game. There's like a minute and a half to go. And I'm pretty sure you know how that game ended up. 35, 45 minutes later, she looks at me. And I'm like, in double overtime. I'm not turning it off now. So YSN got me in trouble over the holiday break, DJ. So I wanted to thank you for that. What a game. The guy that was calling that game did a great job, by the way.
Thank you very much. I'll make sure that Anthony Romo knows. And he loves when people give him compliments on what's going on. So greatly appreciate it. Last question I have for you, being it's the new year, 2022. What's the resolution that you're looking to keep this year?
I'm superstitious. So, and everyone knows it. Our bus drivers know it, how we wash our uniforms, what we do before the games, what we eat before the games. So I'm not changing anything. We're on a winning streak.
I love it. I'll take it. I'll take it. The most superstitious guy in the bunch. I like it. Coach, I appreciate your time as always. Looking forward to doing these more often. And congratulations on taking your team to the top of the YSN power rankings. Hopefully you're there for a while.
All right. Thanks, DJ.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com. That was our interview with Nate Conley, the head coach of East Liverpool boys basketball, conducted by CEO boss man DJ Oakley. Did us a great job with his interviews, and we love it when we get to use him on Running Point.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Conley, we've had on one other time too. Great coach over there, great coach, and a super fan of YSN too, and a big supporter. And we definitely love our Potters there. And it's funny too because a lot of our teams are kind of congregated, it seems like. And if you're not in that Columbiana area, you're right in that Youngstown area. It feels like, except for about 2 to 3, I feel like you got your Beaver Local and your East Liverpool that are out there in the mountains. And let me tell you, if you don't know about
top East Liverpool High School,
I've been down there, man. It is nothing but hills. It's a very mountainous range down there. It's you're going up and down. I mean, my wife's grandmother actually lives right in the area, and I know, like, to get into her driveway, you got to go through all these swerves in a mountain just to get there too.
Well, driving there now in this weather would be just brutal.
You don't want to. Well, I'm just saying you don't want to go into that Potter Fieldhouse to face these mountain men right now because they're on a mission. It seems like, and Coach Conley's doing a fantastic.
And for people that always wondered why Beaver Local was always going to be on cancellations every time you had a snowstorm, I was always jealous when I was in high school because no matter what, like, oh, Beaver Local's canceled. Great. We have to go to school, but Beaver Local's always, well, you know where it's at. You want to drive that in a snowstorm?
Yeah, I mean that bus hits a wrong patch of ice. It's not looking. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting season. But looking at the time, Anthony, I think we got 14 games we need to pick in about 10 to 12 minutes. So we're going to have to.
All right, here we go. Rapid fire picks.
Some rapid fire picks for sure.
Well, it is your duty, sir. So are you going to defer or accept the first pick of the day?
I am going to. I think I will accept it. I'm going to accept it.
This one is LeBray at Liberty. It is 50-50 split on the fan vote, and it's a streaking LeBray team versus the undefeated Liberty Leopards.
Who's home?
It is at Liberty.
That's all I needed to know. I'm sorry, and I do think LeBray is going to keep it competitive. If this was at LeBray, I might have gone Lady Vikings because I do think Lady Vikings have a shot at this team. But I just feel like with that Liberty crowd behind them, this team is so hard to beat when they have that extra support, and they travel well. But when they're at home, they get a little bit of extra push, too. A little bit bigger of a student section. The way that the Lady Leopards have been rolling, I can't pick against them. Give me Liberty.
Right now, Laura McCoy has the most points we've seen from a girls basketball player on YSN this year. A 39-point performance earlier in the season.
She's been
very impressive. One of the reasons why I think this is 50-50 on the fan vote. But I can't pick against undefeated teams. 9-0. Liberty keeps it rolling. We'll roll with them.
We'll start talking about you a lot more, LeBray, if you pull off this victory. I promise we'll have a lot to say about you tomorrow.
All right, next up, my first pick. United goes to Lisbon. This is 75% United on the fan vote, and I'm going to go with the fans and say United gets the road victory.
United has bolstered their schedule to help out with EOAC matchups such as this one.
They played pretty well against Springfield.
Yeah, they did. And for that, I think the Lady Eagles are doing things a little bit different in that EOAC, and I like what they're doing. I'll go United as well.
We go to East Liverpool. They come off the big win over Beaver Local. They now go travel to Indian Creek to take on the Redskins, a very good team in that Buckeye 8 conference.
Yeah, I think I got to go Indian Creek on this one. I think as far as on that girls' side, Indian Creek is one of those teams that is very solid. I think I'll go with them.
I will too. I mean, I love what the Potters are doing this year. I think Shayla Foster had a really good game against Beaver Local. I think she'll continue to succeed this season. But going to Indian Creek's a tough place to go win. And both Beaver Local and East Liverpool have to bounce back from that game against Indian Creek because Indian Creek will be at Beaver Local on Thursday. Valley Christian versus Wellsville. By the way, that poll for that last one, 60% Indian Creek, 40% East Liverpool.
And I believe your first pick on this one, sir, Valley Christian.
I'll take Valley Christian on this one.
I'll go the Eagles as well. Give me Valley.
Wellsville, remember, still looking for that ever elusive fourth win, which would be the most in their program since 2015.
It would be big, and it's definitely a possibility. But I think the Lady Eagles have looked solid this year.
By the way, back in 2015 was a 13-win season, I believe, for Wellsville. So they trying to get back to not just winning more than 3 games, but winning consistently like they used to back in 2010 through 2015.
And they will. They will. I have all the confidence in the world that they will. Every team just goes through their ups and downs. It's just a little bit of a downward thing, but I think they're starting to trend up. I think that the time of trending down is done. I think Wellsville's starting to climb that roller coaster now on the uptrend.
This next one is your first pick, and it is 100% one way on the fan poll. Ursuline versus Heartland Christian. Everybody riding with the Irish so far.
Yeah, I'll go with Ursuline too, and I'll tell you why. Because of what they did and how they looked against Fitch. They didn't quit. They didn't stop fighting, and this is a Fitch girls team that had a lot of weapons. Ursuline showed that a lot too. Love Coach Scott's energy on the side. I love that he gets into the game. I love that he gets fired up for his girls. Give me Ursuline and the Irish as well.
This next one, interesting. It's split 50-50. Western Reserve, Springfield, my first pick. And the Tigers are on a big winning streak. They beat United. Now they welcome a team that has been running the MVAC for a while. Already has a couple losses in the league this year. I'm going to take Springfield at home. They keep it going.
I love Coach Miller too over there in Western Reserve, but I got to tell you, the program, the program's starting to become a sweetheart. It's not quite to the level of the connection I have with some other programs, but not saying that it can't get there. But I feel like, and maybe it's just my fantasy booking or fantasy matchups that I want to see, but I would love to see Waterloo and Springfield go at each other after taking down two of the queens of the MVAC the year prior. I think that's a matchup I'm really excited for. I'm also excited for the Jackson Milton side of the matchups.
I know. Remember, tonight was supposed to be round one of Jackson Milton versus Waterloo.
Yep.
We'll have to wait a little bit longer for that one.
But I'll go Springfield as well with that.
All right, next on the docket, it is your first pick.
Yep.
And it is South Range going to Struthers. Right now, the Raiders have 80% of the fan vote. Remember, South Range has to really bounce back from that brutal loss to Fort Fry in their Holiday Hoops Classic, 61-16.
But the thing is, South Range usually does. This is hard though because South Range plays such good defense, but Lady Wildcats they're streaking now, and they're looking pretty solid as well. This is one of the tougher ones.
It is. I think it's a lot tougher than 80-20. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, for sure. Because I think the Lady Wildcats have looked really, really impressive as of late too. And just the games they've been able to win. Chloe Nieder's coming up as one of these leaders for the team too, as just someone stepping up when they need them to. And
I feel like Struthers hasn't played in a while.
They haven't played since I think just before Christmas. They played Maplewood. And, they came so close to beating Champion, too. South Range, though, is 6-4. They've played a tough schedule. They've played the Hobans. They have the tough schedule. Give me South Range for that reason. Just because of what South Range has played, they've already played, Hoban once. They've played Fort Fry. I gotta go South Range in this one at least. I think the Lady Wildcats can keep it close. They've kept it close in a lot of games, only lost 5 to a very, very impressive Champion team. But just South Range's strength of schedule looks a little bit stronger than Struthers. I got to go Lady Raiders for what they've been able to do with that schedule.
This one's tough. Struthers beat Maplewood 56-26.
I know.
Maplewood's a six-person team. They're struggling with numbers, but they have 2 very dynamic players. So to hold them to 26 points, that's a feat. Let's see. They beat Jefferson, barely lost to Champion, lost to Fitch, but barely.
Barely lost to Fitch. A shot that was literally inches from sending them.
The score that has me kind of kermuffled is that 51-30 loss at Poland. And I know South Range went to 1 point with Poland, but
you can't.
There's going to be a caveat with that. South Range versus Poland will always be a close game because it's one of those rivalries. Both teams want to win so bad. And I feel like everyone was up for that game. Both defenses played really well, and that's why it was so close.
But I mean, that's my thing.
I'm struggling with South Range's ability to score outside of Lexi Tiles because that's what is really hurt.
Now it's tough, but that South Range defense is locked down, and if they play a game like they played against Poland, that's probably going to result in a Lady Raiders victory if they could execute that defensive plan of just. But that's tough too. I mean, this is one of any matchups are always especially tough, especially on that girls' side this year. There's a lot of good teams, and this is one of those sneaky good matchups tonight. And if you're a casual basketball fan, this is one I might tune into if I were you. I think it's going to be fun.
This is a big week for Struthers. They have South Range and Girard.
They come out successful in these two, though. I mean, they're looking.
They have one loss in the NE8, so they're right there with South Range. So if they can beat, no, I'm sorry, they have 2 losses. They lost to Hubbard as well. That was early in the season, though.
It's hard. It's hard to say.
They got destroyed by Liberty.
My only reason,
I feel like they're on a run though. That Lakeview win was big for them, 58-30. Then they started to win. They're playing really well right now. You pick South Range. I'm gonna lose every one of my alumni cards.
Yeah, if you pick against them, sure.
But I think this is a bad moment for South. It's hard to 61-16. It's hard to get that out of my mouth. Like,
it's hard. I understand, but I'm also thinking about the fact that Struthers hasn't played since the 23rd of December.
That might be a good thing. What if they were getting healthy?
Could be a good thing too. But I mean, you can't replace experience with practice. That's just one thing.
You know what? South Range already has a pick, so I don't feel bad. I'll split with you.
Lady Wildcats, it is.
I'll go
you picked one of them because I thought about picking the Lady Wildcats too, and I feel like this one.
I can't believe I just did that. No one can blame me for being a homer.
Wash your face with holy water now.
Oh, Jeff Fischel's never gonna let me back in that gym ever again.
Nope, not at all.
You are. There's gonna be a picture of me in the doors that say "Get out." Just leave.
We got to go rapid fire pick.
Okay, here we go. Lakeview at Poland. This one 100% Poland on the fan vote. My first pick, Poland Bulldogs.
I was going to say it's a battle of Bulldogs, but I think the ones from Poland are going to get the last bite in this one. Give me the Lady Bulldogs of Poland.
Latonia will be hosting Southern. They have the fan vote right now, 80% to 20%.
Similar records, similar opponents for these teams. So with that, I'm just going to go YSN, rock the banner. Give me the Latonia Lady Bears.
Latonia as well. Next, Maplewood versus Windham. Maplewood with 60% of the vote.
This is one, too. You talk about them not having a whole lot of girls, but I think Maplewood is the same situation as Jackson Milton, same situation as Waterloo. They got very good talent in the girls they do have. I'm going to go Maplewood in this one.
Give me Maplewood as well. We have Crestview going to Camel. 86% of the vote going to Crestview.
Are you going Lady Rebels as well?
Lady Rebels. Lorraine Gaskins is on a tear. She scored 24 points in 2 games last week. The freshman coming on strong. Crestview wins.
Give me Crestview as well. I'll go Lady Rebels with you.
Garfield going to Newton Falls. Some game notes on this one real quick before we make our picks, because there are a couple of milestones that could fall tonight. Jenna Smith needs 9 points to get 1,300 in her career.
Wow.
Sarah Seaman needs 2 threes to become the Garfield career leader in made 3-pointers.
Wow.
So
impressive.
A couple of milestones could fall. The record for most made threes in a career is 166. Obviously, right now, Sarah Seaman is at 164. Needs 1 to tie, 2 to break it. So she's at 165.
You didn't need to do any more convincing to me, because after what Garfield was playing like against Fort Fry and how they looked, that was all the convincing I needed for this one. I'm taking Lady G-Men in this one.
Yep, go Garfield. They get the win tonight. And next is going to be Jefferson going to Hubbard, 67% Hubbard on the fan vote.
This is your first pick, isn't it?
It is, and I'm going to go with the home team, Hubbard. I think they have a good enough defense to slow down this Jefferson offense.
Yeah, I'll go Hubbard as well, too. I was thinking on this one, but I got to go. I think home team Hubbard is a good pick.
Last but certainly not least, a game that was scheduled on the fly. Boardman goes to Jackson Milton. Right now, 80% of the fan vote going to the Spartans.
That's more lopsided than I think it's deserving. So, because I think Jackson Milton's a really good team. But I think Jackson Milton gives them a run for their money. I think it's going to be kind of like a Rocky story where they're going to take them 15 rounds. We all know what happened in that first Rocky movie. So wait for the second matchup, Lady Blue Jays. I'm going Spartans.
Real quick, I think a couple of things are important in this game. One, obviously, if Blankenford is back. Don't know. Yeah. Unknown. 2, how this game is called is going to be massive because Boardman plays very physical. And if it gets into a ticky-tack game, Jackson cannot afford to get into foul trouble at all. If Blankenford's not there, they have 6 players. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game is called, what they let go, and how aggressive Jackson Milton can start to get against a very physical board.
If you can't make it out to Jackson Milton tonight, please tune into this one. This is a matchup that rarely ever happens. I can't even tell you the last time I think it did happen. Exciting matchup tonight. Maybe one of the few times you'll ever get to see it. So tune in tonight or get there and see it live.
So that'll do it for our picks. I didn't even pick that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick Boardman as well because of the unknowns for Jackson Milton.
But I do think they can force it 15 rounds. I think Jackson Milton can go the distance with Boardman. I do.
So that'll do it for this episode of Running Point. I want to get out of here so our casual sports podcast will have time to get up. We will be back taking a 22-hour break. We'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2, casual sports from 2 to 3, power hour from 3 to 4, and games all night on the network as always. I believe the first one is at 6:15 and then going on. Go to ysnlive.com/live to check out all the games that we'll have, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Yeah.